So this is what we did. So we have created different modules for this banking application. So we used 5 modules. So create account model, show account details, one module, deposit, withdraw, and check balance. So we are discussing about whenever you use the functions, you have to be very careful with the scope of the variables, because here there are few variables which you require throughout the program. If you make any variable as a local variable, you cannot access that variable in some other function. Suppose account number is a variable which I may require in all the functions, because see, if I wanted to print account number, I must require account number in show account details also. Suppose balance is there, if I wanted to withdraw or deposit, I require balance in some other fields, like in deposit function I require balance, and withdraw also I require balance, check balance also I require balance value. So what is the problem you are having? If you make this balance as a local variable, so you cannot use this variable in some other functions. So that is the reason first I made all the variables global. So these are the global, what are the data I am using, which may be required throughout the program. I made all the data as a global variable. You know what is a global variable? Already we have seen. If any variable which is declared outside the function body or outside of the functions, we can say them as a global variables. So here these variables, 5 variables are the global variables. And there is one more thing. Suppose why I am writing this global keyword here. This is also need to be known here, because if you don't use global keyword before of any variable, suppose if I am writing the statement as this, suppose this account number I am not writing global account number. So when I write account number here, so like this statement, if I write, even though I have a variable account number in the global section, here it is there in the global section, but still it will create a new variable account number with the same name, and this will get the local scope. That means this account number is another variable, so which is created within this function, and it can be used only here. So whatever the value you are passing from here, it cannot be updated here, or any change you make here, it won't update here. So even though if you give account number here, so if you try to access account number from here, it will give you 0, because the global value is 0. The local value you are setting here something else. So what should I do if I wanted to use this variable, this account number? So in these functions, so if you wanted to use the global variables inside the function body, okay, so whenever you wanted to use global variables inside the function body, so you must use the keyword global. Okay, so when you use keyword global in front of those variables, now this account number what you are using inside is considered or taken from the global section. Now this account number both are same, because you use the keyword global. That means you are telling the program that this account number is not a new variable, it is already there in the global section. That is the reason I made all these variables global in before. So which means later in this function body, if you use these variables are coming from the global section. So any changes you make, the changes will reflect. Okay. Now in the create account functions,
Sir,
yes,
sir,
yeah,
if we write that global word in the global section only,
no. So you don't need to write here. So you need to use this global keyword in the function body, because in the local scope, you wanted to use the global variables. When a variable, if you declared in this place, that means outside the function, by default they are global variables. Actually these are the global variables. If I wanted to use that global variable in the local scope, this is a local scope. Local scope means it is within the function body, so function starting here ending here, so within this area, so we have a local scope. So in the local scope, whenever you wanted to use a global variable which is already there, then that time you should use the keyword global. If you don't put this keyword global here, it will make another variable with same name account number, and that will get the local scope. If you wanted to use the same variable, you must use a keyword before the variable, that is global, so that this will become the global variable which you already declared. Okay.
So one doubt.
Yes.
So that means when this inputs will be taken, this will be stored at the global level.
Yes. So whatever the, suppose here I'm writing a statement that account number is equal to input I am giving. So whatever the input you have given, that will go to account number, which means this whatever the account number you have declared here. And whenever if I'm trying to access this account number from some other function, supposing show account details. Now, whatever the account number I am writing, this is the same account number what we inputted previously. Okay. Otherwise, if this account number is in local scope, what will happen? So this will print as 0. The output for this will be 0 because in the global section you have declared account number as 0. If this account number is not a local global variable, so what will happen when I'm inputting it? It will take input. Whatever the input you're giving, it will take. But in the next time when you try to print this value, this is in a different scope level, right? Because create account has a different scope, show account details will have a different scope. So whenever you try to write account number here, because this is a local variable, so it will take the value from the global area, which is 0 previous, so it prints 0. That is why I made this account number as global, so that any change you make here, this will also reflect in the global area, so that everywhere in the program you will get the same updated value. I hope I am clear.
Sir, if we want to update it again, then again we have to write global accounts in another function.
Yes, if you wanted to use, suppose say here, the global balance is a variable here. So here I declared, so I'm giving a balance here. Then somewhere in the deposit function, you see, again I'm using this balance. So even though if you don't put this statement here, so what will happen? It will create another variable with the same name balance, and that will have the local scope in the deposit function. So I wanted to use the same variable balance, so that I should make balance as a global variable. This statement will convey to the interpreter or the compiler that whatever the balance you are using, this is not a new variable. This is already there in the global scope. So take the variable from that section. This is just the message you're giving to the interpreter, so that it will make sure that, okay, what are the balance next time if you use a balance. So it already understood that this balance is not a new variable. It is a variable which is already there in the global section. So I should use that value. So it is doing the same. Similarly, also see in the withdraw function also I used it, the balance. So again, I need to make it global. So whenever you wanted to use any global variable within the local scope, that means within the function body, then that time you need to put global keyword before of it. If you don't put global keyword before of it, it will make another variable with the same name, and that will get the local scope. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
For everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because this is very, very important, because in every questions, maybe we will get a 3-mark output question from this chapter. There will be a 3-mark question from this particular chapter, and that too on the functions concept. So you should be very careful with all the features. That means how the function call is made, what is the local scope, global scope, and all this you have to be very careful. And after this example is over, I'll give you a few output based questions. So once you solve the output based questions, you can get output correct, so that you can clarify that, okay, you are done with this chapter, so we can move to the next section of this. So let me execute this, and let me explain all the functions once. So in this create accounts function, we are just only inputting all the values one by one. Account number is inputted, followed by customer name is taken, then branch code, then mobile number, then balance. This is, I'm just inputting some values. Then after that, the show account details, just printing all the details once again, like what is account number, what is the customer name, what is the branch code, mobile number. So what is the data we entered, the data is shown in the screen. Similarly, when you perform the deposit operation, so what it takes for deposit, suppose when you deposit some money, the actual balance should be reflected, get affected. So the balance is equal to balance plus the amount what you added. That means deposit is done. Then check balance is a function getting called. Similarly, withdraw is a function. So when you withdraw some amount from the bank, the original balance will get reduced. So that is what I'm doing. Balance is equal to balance minus amount. After that, I'm just using check balance to check how much amount is withdrawn from there. Other, what is the current balance? Now check balance is a function which simply displays what is the current balance in the account. Then here your main program starts from here. So where I'm just making a simple loop here. So when I'm taking initially choice is equal to S, and while condition I'm giving ch1 is equal to Y. which means inside ch1 is y. So this time the condition is true, so it will go inside. So this is a body of the while loop. So while loop is starting from here, it is ending here. Yeah, it will end here. So this whole logic, whatever highlighted here, I wanted to repeat till the time the user wanted to continue his banking operations. Whenever user says, no, I don't want to continue, that time only we are going out of this while loop. So if he wanted to continue in this, he has to enter a key, that is y. So that is what I am doing in the end. At the end, there is a print statement. So where I am asking the user, so do you wanted to continue with the banking operation? Then press Y. If you don't want to continue, you can press any other character. So whenever user enters Y, because of this input, it will take the Y and that stores in ch1. Again, it will go back and it sees ch1. Okay, it is still Y. So the user is wanted to continue. Then the print statement get executed. This print statement is just a menu, like what are the operations we are allowing the user to do. So first operation, create account, withdraw, deposit, and all this. Then based on the choice, what are the choice he selected? Suppose if he entered ch is equal to 1, okay, then create accounts. When choice is 2, withdraw operation. When choice is 3, deposit. When choice is 4, check balance. Otherwise, if a user enters any of these 4, not these 4, some other input he is giving, that time it go to this else block and it says to the user, so please select any 4 options available above. Because whatever the choice you have entered is wrong, that feature is not there, use only available features. If you wanted to add extra features, you can do that. You can add in the menu, then you can take one more if and else condition, then what is the operation he wanted to do, you can carry out just by adding that new function here. Okay, so I'll run this code. Yeah, so when I run this code, now this is what we are getting. So the menu is displayed. So the menu is showing 4 operations and it is asking you to select any operation. So I'm selecting operation 1, so which is asking to enter account number. So I may enter something like 1023 is account number, followed by enter name. So I'm using Anil as my name. The enter branch code, suppose B302, some random number for the branch code. Then mobile number is entered. Then the balance, I have entered some value. Okay, so now the account is created. Now after this, it is asking the user to, do you wanted to continue? I still wanted to continue my banking operation. Then I press value Y. When I press value Y, see here the menu is again displayed to you. Now this time, suppose if I wanted to check my balance, what is my current balance? Now what is the operation I should choose? I should choose operation 4. When I enter 4 here, now it tells you, so okay, your current balance is 50,000. Clear? I wanted to continue again, then press Y. Now this time I have some money, then I want to deposit in the bank, then press option 3 for the deposit. When you press option 3, then enter amount that you wanted to deposit. Suppose I wanted to deposit 20,000 in my bank. Now you can see the current balance is 70,000. So previously 50,000 I have inputted. So I'm getting 70,000. Similarly, if you wanted to carry out another operation, so press one more time Y. Now again it is asking, now this time I wanted to perform some withdrawal operation. Select option 2. Then you can enter, suppose if I wanted to withdraw 5,000 rupees from the bank, then enter the value 5,000. Then you can get the updated value is 65,000. So this is how a basic banking operation can be executed. If you wanted to extend more features or adding extra features, so you can do that because it can be always scalable. And if you wanted to make this as a real-time application, you need some backend support. Whatever we made is a front end, so backend support is needed. So backend can be done with the help of database. If the database is there, you can create multiple customers and you can maintain the data permanently in the computer. Or else you can take help of the files. So we have a chapter file handling in this, so Python. So with the help of this data file handling, so you can make this program with the backend support also, so that the data what you are doing here, this data can be stored permanently in the computer, or they can be used for later purpose. Now here I wanted to stop here. I don't want to continue with the operation, then I simply press any other other than y, you can press any character. Suppose if I'm entering n, so it came out. So we have finished our banking operations, so it came out of the program. Okay, so whatever the program we did, it is only for the one particular customer, and this data is also not stored. Whenever you re-execute this program, again it will ask you to perform all the operations again, because we don't have any backend support to this, so it will keep on doing this. I hope this example is clear to you. So if you have any doubts, I'm just giving 2 minutes of time. Just you can raise any of your questions from this program. If everything is clear, you can say that fine. So then I'll just continue with the other thing.
So please scroll up the program.
Okay, so this full program is available in your WhatsApp group. Yeah, well, I'll just show you this.
Fine, sir.
Yeah. Even you can see here. So I'm just give the quick points about the functions. So with this, almost we have done with the user defined functions. Okay. So generally, if you wanted to declare a function, the function should be declared with a keyword definition. DEF is a keyword, must be used for declaring of a function, then followed by the name of the function. Name of the function is any valid identifier, and followed by parentheses. Within the parentheses, you can have the arguments. These arguments are optional. You can have, you don't need to have. It is up to you. Depends on your program. See here, check balance, I don't have any argument, but in withdraw, I have an argument. Because when I withdraw something, so I must tell the user like how much amount you are withdrawing. That is when I'm taking an argument called as amount. Then followed by that, so inside of that, after the colon, so you will be writing the statements. So these statements are called as the body of the function. That means when you execute this function, the body of the function is getting executed. And the functions doesn't have any power by themselves to execute. So some external force has to call the functions. So to execute these functions, someone or externally as a user, you need to call the function. So the create accounts function is getting called because of this statement. So create account. So I am calling. So whenever you wanted to call the function, so you should use the function name followed by the parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, if arguments are there, provide the arguments. If argument is not there, leave it as empty. So this is making a call to create accounts function. So what are the body of the create accounts? Just mute yourself. 1 second. Yes, Sri Ganesh.
So what type of arguments can we use in that?
Where?
You said now when if you want any arguments to be displayed in this
yes.
function call.
Yeah. So when you provide, so what will happen with the arguments? So see here, I'm performing this option 2, choice is equal to 2, which is for a withdrawal operation. So here what I'm doing, I'm taking input amount. I'm asking the user, so what is the amount you wanted to input or withdraw? So once I've taken this amount, so see here what I'm doing, I'm just sending what are the amount the user is wanted to withdraw. I'm sending this amount as an argument. So what will happen, this will communicate to the function. So withdraw is a function call. So where is the withdraw function? So it is available above. So it comes to this location. Okay, so while coming, it is not coming alone, it is coming with a value, that is this amount. Suppose if amount is 5,000, that 5,000 is sent from here and it is going into this particular place. Now amount will get that 5,000, then the remaining process is done. So whenever you wanted to take, see here, this is like the data is fixed here. Suppose if you wanted to send a data dynamically, or if you wanted to send a different data at different times, because amount how much I wanted to withdraw is not same all the time. So whenever I enter option 2, every time it asks the user to what is the amount you wanted to withdraw. So I'll say 5,000 sometimes, 10,000 sometimes, 30,000 sometimes, then it will perform this. So with the help of these arguments, we can make the functions to communicate more conveniently by exchanging the values. you can exchange the data. You can send the data to a function with the help of arguments, and also you can get back the data from the function with the help of a return statement. I think these things we have discussed at the time of parameter passing and all, maybe in the day before yesterday session.
Yes, sir.
Anything?
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else from anyone? Mr. Vivo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How are you doing, Vivo? You're able to answer? Are you able to understand these things?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so what we'll be doing, so I'm just closing this program, and if you need this program is already available in your WhatsApp group. You can use that program and you can execute, and also you can make any kind of modifications you wanted to do to this. Because see, I'm writing the basic operations here, withdraw, simply I'm doing the withdraw operation. Suppose what if I do a withdraw of 1 lakh I wanted to perform, but my bank balance is only 75,000, or maybe as for the last update, maybe 65,000. I wanted to withdraw amount which is of 1 lakh. So it should not be possible, right? Because my account balance is 65,000. I'm trying to withdraw 1 lakh from this. How it is possible? So this will give you,
Over.
yeah, this will give you a negative number. If I do 65,000 minus 1 lakh, it will give you minus 35,000. So which is wrong. Balance can be not be minus 35,000, right? So here you can update it more, and you can just use if conditions and all this. If the withdrawal amount is more than the current balance, so you should not allow the user to enter or go for the withdrawal. Or you can keep the daily limits. Suppose as per the regular banking rules, so generally we will take up to 50,000 per day. So you can also put that limit. Suppose if a user is trying to withdraw more than 50,000, so your day limit is very high or the withdrawal limit is very high. So try to be within the limit. So you can update all those things. Even deposits also, you can restrict how much deposit you wanted to make. You cannot deposit 10 lakhs in a single day. So you can also do this, because this is a basic application. You can just do any kind of changes which you feel like you wanted to do. That is the reason I'm giving the source code to you. You can use the source code if you wanted to update it. If you wanted to implement it more technically, you can do that. It is all in your hands. Okay, fine. I am